I'm Jen.
And I'm Alisa.
And welcome to our channel, Captivated by Him. On this channel, we share from God's Word about how we can be captivated by God and just glorify Him in our lives every day. And today, we are actually making a video because we have been doing this for 5 years.
It's pretty crazy. When we first started this channel 5 years ago, that was back in 2020 in the thick of COVID. So a lot of things have changed since then, both in the world and in our own lives as well. I mean, we're out of the thick of COVID now, so we're post-COVID era in history, but also even in our own lives. When we first started the channel, we were both still single, and then we started dating our respective husbands, and then we both got married, and now both of us have kids. So it's pretty crazy to see how much God has really been faithful in our lives over the past 5 years.
Yeah, and even for our channel, how much has changed. Like, if you go back and watch our first videos, we were in a different location. We were learning. We had never made YouTube videos before, so it was all new to us. So God has been really faithful to us and even growing us with our content and our filming, our crew, and
our setup has changed a lot over the years.
And even the viewers. So thank you so much if you have been following our channel for the past 5 years, and for the people who are continuing to subscribe and watch our videos. Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate you so much. But not just our personal life stages and not just in our film content. I think both Jen and I have changed a lot even in our spiritual lives and our own relationship with God. So Jen, what is at least one way, I know there's probably a ton of ways, but at least one way that God has grown you in the past 5 years?
I think in the past 5 years, definitely, I mean, for both of us, there's been ups and downs. There have been hard times and there have been, chill times. But in it, I think God has shown me that when He does bring these trials into our lives, ultimately He teaches us to be humble. He teaches us to rely on Him. And that's been really valuable for me because in the beginning, I remember like 5 years ago, I was in a place where like I knew that I should be humble, like it says in the Bible. But I was scared to pray for that because I thought if I prayed for it, God might really bring something bad on me.
And might really humble you.
Yeah, and I'm not going to want to take it. But He is sovereign either way. And apparently one of my friends had been praying it for me anyway. So I was like, wow, thank you. No, thank you. Why did you pray this for me? Because now these things are happening in my life.
That's a good friend.
That is true.
Yeah.
Because, it is the best thing for me. And God knew that and put that friend in my life. And I think I've just been learning that God really loves humility. It's something that He treasures and that He thinks is beautiful. And being captivated by Him does mean to be humble, to acknowledge Him in my day-to-day, to be able to rely on Him. And I think now I am, not perfect. There are times when I fail or things happen and I'm like, why? Why is it happening? But it's much easier for me to remember now that God means it for good. And I can either, wallow in my self-pity, or I can look to God and say, it is good that I've been humbled because I can rely on God. And I actually wanted to share a verse about that from James 4:6. It says, "But He gives a greater grace. Therefore it says, God is opposed to the proud, but gives grace to the humble." And it's really true that when He humbles us, it is for our good. And He's giving grace too when He lifts us when we are humble because He cares for us. So not to be haughty or proud around God, but to know that He's greater than all of the things that are happening in my life. So I'm really thankful for that.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I think it's been fun for me to watch God grow you in that area over the years too. And I know there have been moments of hardship over the years, but even in those moments that God really uses those to develop your humility. And in that it is for your good, like you're saying. And I think for me, it's like a little similar too. I've been thinking about what is God grow me in the past 5 years. And I think one area is just really faith and having real dependence on Him. I think that over the course of the 5 years, a lot of things have changed and a lot of things haven't gone the way that I expected it to. And even in this channel, I've talked a little bit in other videos about my struggle with child loss or pregnancy loss. And even through that, seeing God's faithfulness and seeing God's good hand through all of that. And I think that was really really needed, even though, of course, at the time it was difficult, that looking back on it, seeing how God used those moments to really develop my faith and really show me that, hey, I'm the most satisfying thing in life, that it's not just, getting married or having kids right away or like having this many kids at this amount of time. That's what's going to make my life satisfying. That's not the case. And I think that was really good for me to learn, that even though I knew that in my head, that yes, God is the most satisfying in my life, to really know that and to really believe that in those moments where life doesn't pan out the way that I thought it would, and still being able to confidently say, hey, no, actually God really is the most satisfying thing, and really believing it and really having joy in my life regardless of what was going on, because God is there and always looking out for my good, like you were saying. And I think that's something that I really grew in a lot over the past 5 years, and God has shown me a lot more intimately how much more I really can depend on him over that time too.
Yeah, I've definitely seen in your life how the difficult things have stabilized you, actually. As they grow you in your faith, you become more stable, so that when things come your way, you acknowledge that it is God. And even strengthened your marriage too. Hearing you talk about it, I think is really encouraging. Definitely check out Alisa's videos about that. But it has been really fun. And also, speaking of our videos, we've had a lot of videos in the past 5 years. Are there any that are particularly encouraging to you?
We've done a lot of videos over the years, like you've said. We've done some on true beauty, we've done some on contentment, on friendship, on dignity, so there's a lot to choose from. But I think one that particularly I enjoyed was the ones on friendship. And I think there was one point that we kind of threaded across a few videos, but talking about John 15 and how a friend really sacrifices, lays down her life for her friends. And I think it's easy for anyone, but even for myself, to look at friendship as something that's convenient, where, hey, we click, so now we're friends, or oh, it's easy to carry a conversation with this person, so now we're friends. But to really think about what is really biblical in my friendships, what is my love really based on? Is it just based on what's convenient or things that I like? Or is it really based on a heart of sacrifice, just like Christ demonstrates for us? And I think that was really convicting for me, and something I'm still learning and something I'm still trying to apply in my friendships as well, that I don't just operate off of what's easy or what I like or who is easy to talk to, but that I really demonstrate real love towards my friends and to lay my life down for them, whatever that might look like. And to not expect something in return either, to not think about, hey, it's this transactional thing, but it's really, again, a sacrifice, a real sacrificial love that Christ has demonstrated for us too. Yeah.
Yeah. So am I the friend that you click with, or the friend that you had to sacrifice?
That's actually funny, because I think when we first started this channel, we were friends, but we weren't super tight necessarily. But I think through serving on this channel, we've really come together and really seen each other's lives really closely, and that's something I really appreciate. And I think through all of that we have clicked more, I guess. But, no, it actually reminds me of Romans 1:12, and that says, "That is, that I may be encouraged together with you while among you, each of us by the other's faith, both yours and mine." And in this verse, Paul is talking to the Romans, and he's saying that he wants to be mutually encouraged by one another's faith. And I think through this channel and through this serving opportunity of being on Captivated by him, Jen and I have really grown in our friendship and really being able to walk together and really being able to be mutually encouraged in our faith. And that's something that I've really enjoyed over the past 5 years too. And yes, a way I can apply John 15 with you as well.
It's true though. I think it is really fun when we do film. We don't just sit in front of the camera and go, all right, roll, now let's do this. There's times when we're rehearsing, we're talking about the scripts and even how it affects our lives. And I think it is really fun to get to know Alisa better. And now too, I think we're serving in even more ministries than we were together than we were in 2020. So yeah. It's fun to be able to work together, to grow and being able to support each other.
Yeah. And we have a lot of fun behind the camera too. Like, you guys don't see this side, but sometimes it's hard for us to get down to business and film a video because we talk too much. So that's the fun behind the scenes side. But
on the days when the schedule is tight, we're like, all right, no fun, no talking. we can't talk to each other because we're not going to stop.
No, we're kidding. It's fun. It's fun to film too. It's fun to film too. So Jen, is there a particular video that you enjoyed that we filmed from the past 5 years?
Yeah, I've been really enjoying one that we actually put out kind of recently from our Dignity series, and particularly the subtopic of integrity. It's really fun. Even the first video, I remember when we filmed it, and I just thought to myself, like, oh, that's really convicting to think about how we're expected to be holy, holy.
Yeah, I think I remember you commenting on that actually while we were filming. You're like, ooh, this is really convicting.
Yeah, because just that idea of holy, holy, like completely holy, it's a really high standard to live by.
Yeah.
But it really is what God expects. Like he says, be holy as I am holy. And that's also what God helps us to do. And I just really like the idea of like living in the presence of God every day, because it really fits with like the vision for this channel, being captivated by him.
That's true.
To live in his presence, to just think about God. And that should push us to be holy, to acknowledge our sin, to confess it with the hope that knowing that he has forgiven us already. And that can push us to grow in our holiness each day. So that's been really encouraging for me to think about just in my day-to-day life, being captivated.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Jen. I know that I mentioned one from the Friendship series, you mentioned one from the Dignity series. So we have a lot of videos we have on our channels. There's also the True Beauty series, I think, and the Contentment series. We've done a lot over the years. So if you have a particular favorite series that you've watched on our channel, please leave that down in the comments below. But thank you so much for watching our channel. We are so thankful to have this opportunity to share God's word with all of you and to be able to serve God in this way. And it really is such a blessing. So we thank you for your support for the past 5 years.
Yes. And keep liking and subscribing for more content like this.
Yes, and we're excited to see you 5 years from now.
Yes, stay tuned for more.
All right, well, till then, stay captivated.